Marriage doesn't make sense in today's world. The idea of marriage doesn't make sense to me. I essentially have to sign a contract with someone I supposedly love so that society can approve of our relationship and officially give us permission to. It doesn't make sense for men. Women want that commitment before they pop out your babies, and they'll get it too. We men will do anything to retain our sexual options. Many of the traditional social constructs are fading in popularity. The answer is simple, but not so simple. The simple answer is this: everything we do because we want to, for fun, or because we have to stay alive. In the past, we lived in a very different environment, and because of that, the pressures on people to do certain things acted as agents of selection that perpetuated that characteristic in our society, and therein lies the answer. When we encounter an agent of selection, it tends to kill off things that aren't suited to that environment. We have several choices when facing such an agent: we neutralize it, we adapt, we die, or we move. In the past, there were no social services. A woman needed to be bonded to a man to provide for her. A man wanted the bond to make sure that the family he supported was loyal to him. Never mind moralizing about the past, we can do that, but it'll take too long to go through. In that time, marriage was a huge deal, bonding two families for mutual support to perpetuate the species. Everything we did in the past centered around progeny. Children were wealth. Children were seen as a sign of a successful union. But things have changed. Women have choices. A woman doesn't need a contract with a man today to be financially solvent. She has an education and a job. A man isn't the only provider to a woman, so knowing that the kids were his isn't so important. Because we need fewer children to keep the species extant, women didn't have to stay at home caring for infants and thus the elderly. We have social services for a lot of that. The purpose of marriage has changed. Not all marriages in the past were driven by love. People married for practical reasons that had nothing to do with romance, love, or sexual attraction. Prior generations felt pressure to be married, even though they may not have really wanted to. Men felt pressure to marry for the following reasons: to start families. Couples living together before marriage was frowned upon, and as recently as the 1970s, it was difficult for non-married couples to even find a place to live. Many landlords would not rent to them. Kids born outside of marriage were stigmatized as illegitimate or worse. If you wanted to live with a woman and have kids and not be subjected to judgment or societal bigotry against cohabitation, you got married. Commitment is a big deal now, and nobody wants to get into it anymore. We are moving towards a life where companionship is needed only when we have nothing else to do. Like no plans, no FRDS, no interest in Netflix series, or no hobby, or when you want to have sex. It's only felt when we need somebody to. Like when you are kind of low and you want somebody to listen to you. In the world of options available on swiping right. We all want to see, what if we get something better? Nobody wants to invest time in knowing you, your choices, or what you like to do. We are becoming emotionally intolerant about other people. We all come with our own baggage, and nobody wants to add more. We meet wrong kind of PPL, fall in love wrong with person, and get scar for whole of our life. Everything that we go through makes an impact on our mind. We want happiness, but only for short time with individual PPL. The day the same person starts troubling you. You don't want it anymore. You don't want to go through the headache of the other person nagging or bothering you. The fear of being stuck with wrong person, the wanting of someone better, the emotional baggage that we all carry, the torture sometime that we go through in relationship. The fear of being responsible for other person, life, or happiness are some of the factors that people don't want to get married. Today you have the option for live-in, and mostly the youth is following that cause. We believe in trial and error now. If it works, good. If it doesn't, we have option of becoming FRDS. Earlier there were no such options. Being with your love forever will have only one way of being married with them. The world is moving fast. Our mood changes every day. Our feelings changes every day. In this fast-moving and changing world, do we want to get stuck only with one partner? For long? Maybe not. And yet nobody wants to marry now. It's easy to get a divorce nowadays.